Both the Fertmark and spread mark schemes are based on the codes of practice. These industry codes are agreed by the Fertiliser Quality Council, which is the governing body that control both these codes, the Fertmark code and the spread mark code. The Fertiliser Quality Council is a pan-industry organisation with representation from farmers, fertiliser manufacturers, ground spreaders and aerial spreaders, plus technical experts from AgResearch Massey University. And so the codes reflect what the industry considers is best practice for the manufacturing and spreading of fertiliser on New Zealand farmland. The audit process is grounded first of all in the Fertmark Code of Practice and the Spread Mark Code of Practice. The auditor is contracted on a 3-year interval. The auditor must carry international auditing qualifications, and so the audit process is as rigid as the industry can make it. For a fertiliser spreading company, either aerial or ground, the first step is to make an application to become a spread mark company. They then contact the auditor who will arrange for a spread mark test on their spreaders. This is done by people who hold the spread mark testing accreditation. These people they offer a competitive service at a very reasonable price, and if the truck passes that test, then the spread mark test shows the bout width, that is the width the fertiliser spreads uniformly. That test certificate then is sent to myself as Executive Director of the Fertiliser Quality Council. It is signed off and returned to the spreading company. The final step in the auditing process is following the spread mark test being accepted, following a declaration that the company has 75% of its fleet spread mark tested, following an assurance that drivers have been trained, the spread mark auditor then visits companies to ensure full compliance with the spread mark code. And it's worth mentioning that the application fee to become a spread mark company is reduced for New Zealand Ground Spread Fertilisers Association members. The process for a fertiliser manufacturer, or indeed an importer of fertiliser products into New Zealand, first again applies to the Executive Director of the Fertiliser Quality Council to register the product that particular company is manufacturing and or selling in New Zealand. The product is then submitted to audit, and so the nutrients that are declared in that fertiliser are registered with Fertmark, and throughout the life of the registration of that product, the fertilisers are regularly audited to ensure that the declared nutrients are the same as the stated nutrients. That is, the promotion of the product is consistent with the declared nutrients. The Fertiliser Quality Council gives an assurance, an independent assurance of the nutrients that are in the fertiliser. The Fertiliser Quality Council cannot give an assurance of the efficacy of the fertiliser because that's up to the farmer or the fertiliser applicator, and if there is more fertiliser applied or less fertiliser applied, that is something that is within the control of the farmer, not the Fertiliser Quality Council. If a farmer is dissatisfied with the application of fertiliser by a spread mark operator, then a complaint should be made to the Fertiliser Quality Council. That complaint will be then investigated by the spread mark auditor, who will consider all the factors that are present. If it is shown that the spread mark operator is operating outside the terms of the spread mark code, then that spread mark operator could be disqualified from the spread mark scheme, but more importantly, that spread mark operator will be encouraged to become compliant and able to perform to the standard that is expected of spread mark companies. The fertiliser company makes a major commitment to become a FERT mark company. Firstly, they are submitting their product to independent quality assurance, and so they simply have no control over that. The guarantee is that they will continue to produce fertilisers consistently within the declared levels of nutrients present. The fertiliser companies, of course, are dealing with single super. They're dealing with phosphate rock, which is a hugely variable product in itself. Should a fertiliser company be found to be outside the terms, the nutrients declared in their nutrient declaration, then the auditor will approach that company and require from them a very clear assurance that they can perform to their declared nutrient levels. If they can't, then the fertiliser companies will redeclare their product and promote at the lower nutrient levels. The spread mark operator, first of all, must apply to join the scheme, must be prepared to pay a promotional levy, which helps to promote the spread mark scheme. The company must then submit the way their company works to independent audit, so that the spread mark trademark can be promoted to farmers as offering a guarantee of professional service and quality service to New Zealand farmers. The farmer who uses FERT mark fertilisers spread by a spread mark spreader knows that he is getting an independently assured fertiliser product. The nutrients will be there, and he also knows that those nutrients will be spread evenly across the belt width, so that the possibility of adverse impacts on the environment is mitigated.